How are you today? My name is Ron. Say hello, Ron. What's my name? What's my name? Okay, just want to make sure. So I've invited you here today for a special party because we are introducing a new book that has been written just for the children in Rocky Hill. It's called A Story of Belonging. You are you. You are special. Are you special?
Yeah. No.
Well, by the end of this hour, you will be.
No, I'm special and rare.
There you go. So here's what we're going to do.
I'm special and rare because you can see the face from my hair, but you can see it more clearer when I'm exposed to a new light.
There you go. All right. Let me explain what we're going to do. And in a few moments, I'm going to release you to go around the room. We have a game over there where this is all about duck-billed platypuses, by the way. Have you ever heard an animal called a duck-billed platypus?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what the story is about. So, yeah. Who belongs to him? No. Been there. So, one of the games is you go over to the duck-billed platypus and you get blindfolded and you try to put the tail on the duck-billed platypus. It's like pin the tail on the donkey, but the duck-billed platypus. And then, you can do that at any time. And then there's a place over there where we'd like to take your picture. And there's a picture frame way over there. It says, you are bananas. Yeah?
No.
No? What does it say?
Special.
Oh, special. I apologize. I don't have my long-distance glasses. So we want you to stand behind there. It can be one person. It can be two people. You can fit as many people as you want. But we'd like to get all your pictures. So go over there and that. There's also a table right here. And don't you raise your hand? You can make a special button to wear. And there's a lot of choices. Can you sort of explain?
Yeah, sure. So we've got a couple that we've made.
Ooh.
Some of them say, like, I am special, you are you. We've got a couple with the platypuses on them.
Nice.
But you can certainly take it, look at it, you can make it your own. Like, I'll have some coloring stuff here. You can zhuzh it up. And I have a button machine here. We'll cut it out, we'll get it, and you'll have a personalized button to bring home. So you can make, or you can start from scratch, just with a blank circle, and make something yourself.
Do you have one that says you are bananas?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. So make sure you stop and get a button made. And then there is a table, and on that table are coloring pages, and we'd like everybody to color a coloring page. We're going to hold on to those, and at the end we might pick a couple and give a special prize. And then there are some, hi. How are you? Good. Why don't you sit down? Thank you. Better late than never. And then there's also some what I call brain games. So I hope you brought your brain with you. And there are games that would be there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to send you off. Oh, by the way, there are snacks. And at any time, if you want to go get a snack, please do. And so enjoy that. Oh, there we go. So we're going to release you. The last thing I'm going to tell you is that near the end, we're going to come back. We're going to read the story to you. I have a song to teach you. The song is actually in the book. It's on YouTube, but we're going to learn it. And then, at that particular point, every one of you are going to get a free book. So, last thing. What am I holding?
A bell.
What is it?
A bell.
What is my name?
Long.
Okay, just want to make sure you know. Whenever you hear the bell, this is what it sounds like. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to freeze wherever you are, because we're going to pick a number out of that bag. Maria's right over there. Maria, raise your hand. She's going to pick a number out of a bag, and and you all have a number. You got a number? I just make sure you have a number. 20. There you go. Whoever's number is pulled, you get to pick a gift. So listen for the... You got it?
Yeah.
All right. You have a question?
Yeah.
Which number is that? Yeah, I know. Yes. What is your question?
So, how many times will you pick out, like, to get a gift?
You'll never know until you hear the
Bell.
Thank you very much. All right. So,
1, 3.
remember,
1, 3.
what do you do when you hear the bell?
Freeze.
And don't move, because if you're moving, you can't pick a name. All right, so on your mark.
This is not bell, this is country.
I want to know who this child belongs to. So, ready, set, go! Pick a number.
You've never given me that bell.
You get it now.
Okay, ready? Number 2. Who was number 2? Yes,
There you go.
you did, Hunter.
All right. Ready, set, go! How you doing? How's Neil?
They're games inside.
It's been fun. Really? I couldn't.
Thank you.
Here we go. Everybody to the wall. All right. Now, here's where I'm going to tell the story. Normally, when you read a book, and it's a picture book, you would normally read something, and then you would open it up. Not going to do that. This is Jean. Say hi, Jean. She is going to hold, as we read, she's going to hold up the illustrations from the book to make it a little bit easier. Now, when she holds up, there's going to be a picture, and there's going to be a name of the character underneath. And that's a clue. But every now and then, she is going to hold up a card, and there are just words. When you see that card, I want you all together to read those words. You okay with that?
Yep.
By the way, what's my name?
Wow.
Okay, I want to make sure. Just never know. I sometimes forget. All right. So, Jean, why don't we practice? Why don't you hold up the first card? Before time as we know it, there was a land called Bustani, where all animals lived together happily. Every animal you can imagine lived peacefully with all other animals. No animal went hungry, and there was water, shade, and places for every creature to live. If animals chased each other, it was to play, not to kill. Animals of all shapes and sizes and kinds lived and played together as one happy family. You could say this was perfect, but sadly, it wasn't. You see, there were these little twins, Dia and Dea. They wanted badly to have friends to play with, but were always shut out. They would try day after day with no success because they and their family looked different from everyone else. And because of this, all the other little animals made fun of them. Sometimes other ones would bully Dia and Dea by ignoring them. They would call them names, and when it came time to play games, they were never asked to join. They actually felt invisible. Dia asked their parents, Kamisi and Zuina, why won't anyone play with us? Dea chimed in, they make fun of the way we look. Just ignore them, said Kamisi. You are beautiful in your own special way. Zuina added, now go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. We have work to do. Listening to their parents, Dia and Dea looked at each other, shrugged, and went outside to play. As they skipped down by the river, they heard laughing and giggling in the distance. As they approached the bank of the river, they saw a group of animals playing in the water. Dia said, let's ask if we can play with them. 4 or 5 are in my class at school. Dea was skeptical, but agreed. They walked up to the group. Dia said to the animals, can we come down and join you? Bure shouted, we don't want to play with you. Just leave us alone. Little by little, all the other animals began chanting.
Leave us alone.
They continued even louder.
Leave us alone.
They shouted.
Leave us alone!
All the animals turned their backs on Dea and Dia and laughed and called them names. Dia and Dea turned and ran away with tears flowing down their faces. They ran and ran until they came upon a large myrtle tree. As it happened, it was one of their favorite spots. There was a small opening, a little above the base, covered by leaves. It was special to them. They would often squeeze and huddle inside to read, make up stories, and dream about what it might like to have friends. Right now, at this moment, it was a place for them to hide. It was their safe place. As they talked about what had just happened, they hugged each other and began to sob. The leaders of Bustani, Akina and Jabali, were walking together, making preparations for a celebration that was to begin the evening of the next full moon. Not thinking so much about where they were going, they just happened to be passing by the exact myrtle tree where Dia and Dea were hiding. Akina and Jabali, full-grown lions, were the chosen leaders of the land, not because they were big and strong, but because they made it their business to make sure everyone was happy and stayed healthy. Passing by the myrtle tree, Akina stopped, listened closely, and said, "Do you hear that, Jabali?" "I think I do, Akina. I hear crying. I wonder what's wrong. No one should be sad and crying on a beautiful day as today." Together they looked up and down the tree and yet saw no one. As they walked around the tree, Akina said, "I think the crying is coming from inside." As they listened more intently, they followed the sound of the crying to a branch covered with leaves. Akina pushed the leaves aside and discovered Dia and Dea huddled together. Looking at Dia, Akina looked in and asked, "My child, why are you so sad? Why are you crying?" Jabali continued, "This is such a beautiful day. This is not a day for tears. Why are you and Dea not out playing with other little ones? Please come out so we can talk." Being obedient little animals, they came out of their hiding place and stood before Jabali and Akina. Jabali asked, "What's the matter, my little one?" "Oh, no one will play with us," said Dia. "All the other little animals call us names and make fun of us." Jabali asked, "Why would you say that, child?" "Because," Dea blurted out,
We look different.
After hearing what Dia and Dea had said, Akina and Jabali let out a deafening roar that was heard throughout the land. It was their way of calling all the animals to assemble in a beautiful meadow that was at the center of their world. As the animals began to make their way to the meadow, Akina said, "Come with me, little ones. I will get to the bottom of this. No one should ever be made fun of because of how they look, act, speak, or anything else." So together, Akina, Jabali, Dia, and Dea walked to the center of the meadow, where the most beautiful and majestic tree stood. It was called Messiah, the tree of life. While the animals gathered, Jabali called the assembly to order, asking all to be silent and asking all the little ones to come and sit in the front, just like you. Akina and Jabali took turns telling everyone assembled what Dia and Dea had told them. Jabali wanted an explanation of why this was happening. "Why is this so?" questioned Jabali. "Who will be the first to speak?" Manna was the first to speak up. "Even though they have webbed feet, a bill, and lay eggs, they are not birds. They have no wings. They look so funny." Manna said, "They need to find friends."
Somewhere else.
Next to speak was Makidi. Hesitantly, Makidi said, "Dia and Dea are clearly not reptiles. We are cold-blooded." They are not. They are warm-blooded. Their bodies are covered with fur. Our bodies are covered with scales. There is no way Dia and Dea are reptiles. Besides, they just look so funny. Makida said, "They need to find friends."
Somewhere else.
See, Rafiki was next. He shouted, "We agree that they are warm-blooded and that they have fur and that they are fed warm milk from their mothers. But there's something about the way they look. Look at them. They look so strange. In fact, we have all agreed they are actually fish." Rafiki said, "They need to find friends."
Somewhere else.
Abaya interrupted and saying, "What do you mean? Just because they swim in the water and find their food does not make them fish. They have no scales. They have no gills. They have lungs. And look at that tail." Pointing at the beavers, Abaya said,
That's where they
Now just wait a minute, said Bore. I think not. A beaver's tail does not make a beaver. They do not eat the bark of trees, and certainly do not live in a lodge in the middle of lakes and rivers and ponds. To suggest that they are beavers is just wrong. Burry said they need to find friends.
Somewhere.
Oh, what had started as a peaceful meeting began to get out of control as arguments erupted among the little ones and adult animals. Enraged, Jabali commanded,
Silence.
I call for everyone to be silent. We came across Dia and Day in tears. They felt rejected by all the ones and were not allowed to play with their young. And they were even called names and made fun of just because of the way they looked. My heart breaks for them. Why should it be? What makes all of you better than these two? And then talking to the adults, how would you feel if your little ones had no friends? How dare you? See, Rafiki said, but they don't look like any of us. They look so strange, they are different. Enraged and bursting with anger, Akina and Jabali roared with such intensity that the sound seemed to shake the creation at its very core. Together they lifted their heads and commanded, say silence.
Silence.
Let me hear a command.
Silence.
Once again.
Silence.
Silence. In that moment, not a sound was to be heard except the whistling of the wind. How dare you judge someone else by what they look like, or how they speak, or how they think or act? I always thought that it was our differences that made us special. We need to celebrate our differences. Jabali and I would say that Dia and Dea represent all of us because there's a little bit of them and us together. They're not different from us. They are us. In many ways, they show us what a family should be like. Different, but the same. Remember, that one right there. Yep.
Everyone belongs.
Say that again.
Everyone belongs.
Say that again.
Everyone belongs.
Do you really believe that?
Yes.
In that moment, they spoke, and there was a deep silence among all the animal family. They began to feel ashamed of the way their little ones had acted toward the twins as well as themselves for not seeing the problem. And then all the little ones, as if on cue, ran to Dia and Dea and said,
We are so sorry.
then all together they said,
Let's try to be friends.
as time went on, little by little, Dia and Dea began to feel more accepted because they were asked to join in the games and all the other activities. Their tears of sadness had turned to tears of happiness. They no longer felt invisible and left out. It was amazing how the other animals, young and old, began to see with new eyes. They realized just because someone looked different, it doesn't make any difference at all. For the first time in their lives, the twins felt welcomed and happy, not because of how they looked, but because of who they were. The end. Now, we're going to do a song. Got the song? All right, we're going to read the words. So let's hold up the first one. Let's see if you can read the words.
You are you.
Next one.
You are special.
Next one.
There is no one in this world that is like you. Don't be afraid. You make the world a better place. Because you are special, you are you. You are you. You are exceptional. You will never be another one like you. Be confident in what you say and what you do. Because you are special, you are you.
All right, now I'm going to sing the song to you. We have a flute player. Any of you play flute? Excellent. Are we ready over there? We're going to sing it, and then as I sing it, if you would hold up the words once again, so you can see the words. Because the second time through, I'm going to ask you to see if you can sing along.
I have a guitar. you.
All right. Here's how the song goes. You are you. You are special. There is no one in the world that's just like you. Don't be afraid. You make the world a better place. Because you're special. You are you. You are you. You are exceptional. There will never be another one like you. Be confident in what you say and what you do. Because you're special. You are you. I'm going to do it again. If you want to see if you can join in, that'll be fine. Ready? You are you. You are special. There is no one in the world that's just like you. Don't be afraid. You make the world a better place. Because you're special. You are you. You are exceptional. There will never be another one like you. Be confident in what you say and what you do. Because you're special. You are you. One last time. You can join them all too if you want. All right, one last time. I'd love to hear this at a school concert. You are you. Come on. You are special. There is no one in the world that's just like you. Don't be afraid. You make the world a better place. Because you're special. You are you. You are exceptional. There will never be another one like you. Be confident in what you say and what you do. Because you're special. You are you. Give yourself a hand. Thank you. Let's give a hand to the flutist. Dr. High School Duck. All right. Thank you very much for coming as you lead. Oh, you're all gonna get a book. Why don't you hold it up and we'll get a picture. Why don't you stand up? A couple more pictures. So I can prove where I was. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend.